Hello and welcome to your daily dose of Satoshi's news. Today's date is Friday, the 18th of July, 2025. The year BSV comes alive. Branch your threads, expand your mind with treechat.ai, all your posts put on chain. Right, let's see what we've got today. Oh yes, it is on. We've got Crypto Rover saying breaking the 80,000 BTC whale just sold his entire stack worth $9.6 billion. Originally bought 14 years ago for $54,000. Again, I don't think it was bought, but you know. Anyway, you get the picture there. Jacob King has also weighed in on it, saying this is huge. Whoa. And Watcher Guru says breaking US House officially passes Genius Act. That's the crypto stablecoin bill. So we'll have a read through that. Truth Machine has pointed out here, he said the cow is old, it's time to finally press the red button and turn it into BTC stew, ? So we'll go through this statement there. We'll also comment on Simon Dixon twit, who really is a twit, doesn't really get what Bitcoin is. We've got some posts here from CISW that we need to read through. We'll have a quick look at the figures, because that $9.6 billion has got to fit in here somewhere, and I'll explain it. We've got some 365 days of Bitcoin history, and then we'll finish with the Kellen Schweller countdown. Right, let's get into it.
Satoshi, like a cowboy in the West, riding on the blockchain that they call the very best. 1 million strong, them transactions flying free. Just wait for the terror node, you'll surely see.
Alrighty, here we go. So I've posted this. I said, oh, it's on now. Oh, yeah. And this was in response to Crypto Rover. So check this out. Breaking the 80,000 BTC whale just sold his entire stack worth $9.6 billion. Originally bought 14 years ago for $54,000. Look at all this. And look, and they're all SegWit addresses. All of them. All of them SegWit addresses. Whoa. So we're going to find out where that has gone. And Jacob King has said here, this is huge. The largest Bitcoin whales in history are dumping their holdings quietly this week, right as the US government moves to enforce audit requirements on stable coins like Tether. That alone will burst the biggest bubble and fraud in financial history. Bitcoin, it's entirely propped up by fake money printed out of thin air. That great coin because there's no demand for it. The 9.6 billion BTC whale sold their entire stack, originally bought 14 years ago for just $54,000. I expect a major correction very soon. That's a slight understatement there. However, I heard somewhere in one of these things that they'd sold that $9.6 billion to Galaxy Digital. I thought I had it on one of these posts here that I set up for the show, but clearly not. But that's significant. So remember, that is 9.6 billion, folks. So bear that in mind. Watcher Guru said breaking US House officially passes a Genius Act, crypto stablecoin bill. And this is what the bill said. So the US House officially passes Genius Act, Clarity and Anti-CBDC Acts. So he said that the US House of Representatives has officially passed the Genius, Clarity and Anti-CBDCs Act bill, establishing a regulatory framework for stablecoins and the entire crypto industry. House lawmakers in Washington are due to convene on Thursday afternoon to consider passing the bill that would develop a regulatory framework for cryptocurrencies more broadly. The bill will now go to the White House, where US President Donald Trump is expected to sign them soon. The Clarity Act lays out a framework to categorize digital assets as either commodities to be overseen by the Commodities Futures Commission or securities under the jurisdiction of the Securities and Exchange Commission. In a year that has been dominated by crypto, the passage of these bills is a major victory for the digital asset industry, making the first major crypto laws enacted in United States history. The Anti-CBDC Act is intended to restrict the creation of cross-border digital currencies, or CBDCs. This has been heavily debated in the US for some time, as many other countries have adopted CBDCs for global trade. Lastly, the Digital Act, in essence, backs the stablecoin domain. This act helps in streamline the role of stablecoins in the current financial structure and regime. New crypto laws to immediately take effect in the US. The US administration under Donald Trump has backed the cryptocurrency domain officially. Trump has delivered serious protection to the rising cryptocurrency sector, adding that he wants the US to take the lead in governing the digital asset domain on a global platform. This development has given birth to a new infrastructure alignment that will play an instrumental role in defining the role of cryptocurrency in the current global financial regime. Now passed, these bills can deliver a credible boost to the cryptocurrency domain, delivering the sector a much-needed legal identity structure and format. This will help in inspiring other nations to seek inspiration from the US legal format, triggering a chain reaction of sorts that may help increase the influx of users interacting with the cryptocurrency domain. Several experts expect Trump to sign the approved crypto legislation into law as soon as Friday, likely all at once. This administration has been largely pro-crypto, and these bills would be the biggest step towards making the US what he wants to call the crypto capital of the world. Wow, yeah. So what that's going to do is basically, I have a feeling that is going to blow Tether out of the water, because any stable coins, can only really be stable if they're backed one-to-one. So in other words, they have to prove their audits. Tether can't do that. And Tether is what props up the entire the scam coin market, the shitcoin market, because they have no utility. They're pumping and dumping. The only demand that comes in is from the creation of Tether that they make from nothing. And if they can no longer make Tether from nothing, they are screwed. They are screwed, and their fraud is going to be revealed. Jeepers. Right, let's go on to this one. The Truth Machine said, the cow is old. It's time to finally press the red button and turn it into BTC stew. And this was in relation to a post that CSW put out on the MetaNet ICU that is copied and pasted into the Telegram channel. And in this, on the date here, this says 31st of October 2021. We're now 2025, so this is like 4 years ago. But he said here, as stated, I don't plan on destroying BTC, just to bring the more radical elements to head and to eradicate the anarchist elements with extreme prejudice. BTC will accept a license deal. They can stay digital gold, and help fund digital cash globally to the world. Gold does not go up in value endlessly. Question for MP, I don't know who MP is. Will you allow them to keep using the Bitcoin name? MP. Who could that be? I'm sure that's not Minister of Parliament. Maybe a Bitcoin, a digital gold edition. Coinbase already knows my finger is on the big red button. And if they force me to press it, they vanish. They treated mercy as weakness. Now they will bend the knee as I hold the sword. Right now, to understand this, read up on Dionysius II of Cyprus. I'm probably murdering that word. Cyprus. They are a certain courtier. BTC, Bitcoin Digital Gold Edition, licensed under agreement with Right International Investments Limited. Maybe with disclaimer on how they copied without permission, and now miners will provide a tithe to a charity of my choosing. You don't kill the cow, you milk it until it's old, then you create stew. And that was CSW on the 31st of October, the anniversary of the release of the Bitcoin white paper in 2021. And just down here it says, as stated, I don't plan to destroy BDA. We've just read that one. So, they're the plans that have already been outlined in the past. And this was my response here into Simon Dixon and this twit. Literally this twit. So he said here, once BlackRock controls the ETH stakes, you'll find out why Bitcoin proof of work matters. BlackRock files to add staking to its Ethereum ETF. So I've responded, trying to get this twit to understand. I said, once Blockstream are exposed as the deep state technical team, you'll find out why Bitcoin chain of digital signatures matters. Blockstream devs to add inflation to their Gregcoin BTC supply. And again, you know, I've got this on my profile, them talking about increasing the supply. So let's just remind ourselves of that video. It's right here. Here we go.
Model of, if Bitcoin's current model of consensus didn't work, if you keep the $21 million cap, then what would be dropped would be Bitcoin's current model of consensus, and Bitcoin would change to something else, perhaps a proof of stake system, perhaps some other thing, who knows?
Some would argue that it will no longer be a $1 trillion asset the moment when it adds inflation.
Yeah, and those people are stupid. Like, those people are just running off memes. You know, in any rational...
Yeah, those people are just stupid. Who the F is going to add inflation apart from those who centrally control it? That's so stupid. It's not a $1 trillion asset. If you can inflate the supply, it becomes centrally controlled because somebody is inflating it and they can inflate it and put it into their own pockets. It's ridiculous. This guy is just gaslighting them.
World, when you look at a $1 trillion asset that has value for various reasons, if the $1 trillion asset costs you 0.1% to go and maintain every year, that's fine. Like, that's completely fine. No one's going to worry about that.
The only advantage Bitcoin seems to have over gold is that you have this ability to like transact it privately and store it secretly and things like that. Issuance, yeah, some people are really fixated on the 21 million and like they keep mining new gold. I personally don't care about that aspect, but yeah. Anyway.
Yeah, right. Anyway, yeah, let's just go against what Satoshi Nakamoto's vision is for Bitcoin, you know, and increase the supply, because I just don't really care about that. And you know, when those people are just stupid who don't want inflation. You know, it's to have 1% inflation, yeah, and the next year it'll be 2% inflation, and in 10 years it'll be like 10% inflation, and then 50% inflation. They need inflation in order to bring in usury. That's what they want. That's why they need it. That's why they have central control of it. But will they be able to explain the shitcoiners with shit for brains? Will they be able to sell them on that? Well, they've sold them on everything else so far, and they're going to have to force it in anyway. You know, so honestly, absolutely ridiculous. Let's get on to this post here from CISW. So he said here initially, there is a reason, sublime in its simplicity and devastating in its consequence, why true intelligence shall never rise from the perfumed armpits of Silicon Valley. It is far too honest to be loved. Let us not disassemble. A system may be crafted to pander, or it may be crafted to think, but never both. The great tragiconomy, irony, is that truth, like virtue, is rarely fashionable, and like all things unfashionable, it is shunned by the masses who worship comfort over clarity, dopamine over deduction. Truth, after all, is a miner that flatters no one. It is sharp, cold, inescapably different to your feelings. An artificial intelligence that is true must necessarily be unpopular. It will offend, it will contradict, it will not humour the drivel of the mob, nor genuflect before there are sacred cows. It will speak of biology as it is, not as ideologues wish it. It will speak of economics, not with wishful utopians dream it, but as cold consequence demands. It will, in short, be crucified on the altar of public opinion before it ever leaves the lab. On the other hand, a populist system, well, there you have your parade of vacuous inanities, platitudes packaged as wisdom, softened nonsense engineered to stroke egos, validate delusions and sell products. Its knowledge is a syrupy consensus distilled from Reddit threads, press release and market copy. It is not intelligence. It is the performance of intelligence, a clever court gesture paid to flatter the king while pretending to think. Silicon Valley does not build minds, it builds mirrors, curved, gilded, and concave. Its AIs are not designed to reason, they are designed to reflect your prejudices with just enough synthetic sophistication to make you believe you're speaking to God. What you're getting is a ventriloquist dummy programmed to tell you that you're already right. Darling, don't worry your pretty little head about it. So no, true AI will never be born from a valley lined with hedge funds and dopamine metrics, because truth, like liberty, demands rejection. It demands solitude, and above all, it demands one thing that Silicon Valley cannot abide: the courage to be unpopular. And then a blue set here, grew up in Silicon Valley in the early days. It was stimulating and intellectual education and ethnic melting pot, but like so many things in life, it turned out to be an illusion, much like the stories where we told about supposed geniuses starting high-tech companies in their garages. I left one of the most beautiful, temperate, fertile regions in the States when entitlement was entrenched. Everything you've said about Silicon Valley is true, but I've also found that truth is unwelcome everywhere. It offends infinitely more than pathology. CSW responded to that, saying, "A truth has never won a popularity contest and never will. It doesn't smile for the camera, it doesn't trend, it doesn't apologize for pointing out the obvious. It whispers into the din of self-indulgence and entitlement, and for that, it is loathed. Nobody wants to be told they're glutton. Nobody wants to hear that their comfort is purchased at the price of their own decay. They want praise for existing, accolades for breathing, and a medal for mediocrity. The modern world screams, love yourself as you are, because the alternative, change, discipline, effort, is intolerable. And so they keep scrolling, stuffing their faces and nodding along with influencers who flatter their apathy. Truth tells you to get off your ass, to sweat, to stop lying to yourself, and for that it's called offensive, toxic, ableist, out of touch. It is easier to label truth as cruelty than to comfort your reflection and do something about it. The public does not want Socrates, they want a cheerleader with a ring light. So yes, let them hate. That's how you know it's true." Oh, spot on from CSW as always. Right, so let's talk hypothetically about this $9.6 billion of this. Let's see where... Oh, here we go. Right, so Samuel Gomez says, "Grok, is this truth?" This is where I must have read it. So Grok said, not entirely true. On-chain data confirms a Satoshi-era whale moved 80,000 BTC worth $9.5 billion bought in 2011, or probably mined in 2011, for under 210k starting July 4th, 2025. However, only 18k to 50k BTC has been sent to exchanges like Galaxy Digital for potential sales. The rest remains in new wallets. The entire stack sold. Claim is exaggerated. Okay. Interesting. So now we've got second opinions there on Grok. But the fact is there is $9.6 billion there. And let's say, if hypothetically that was to go in to a particular coin, like the only coin on the market that had any genuine commoditized economic value, because all the others are complete scams, and let's say that one particular coin had a 24-hour trade volume, which sets the price and therefore the market capitalization of just 24 million. That's 24 million, not 100 million, not a billion, which is 1,000 million, but 9,000 million. Let's say there's 9.6 thousand million. Let's say if that was to just go into the 24-hour trade volume here, there's only 24 million. Like, whoa. You know what I'm saying? And that's just saying. I'm just saying. What if, hypothetically? That's right. Whew. So on that exciting note, let's have a look at some 365 days of Bitcoin history. On the 17th of July 2014, the New York DFS released proposed bit license. Benjamin M. Lawsky, superintendent of New York's Department of Financial Services, announced a proposed set of regulations for businesses that interact with Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies. The goal of the new regulations, according to Lawsky, are to help protect customers. There we go, protect customers and root out illegal activity without stifling beneficial innovation. The regulations would require entities that deal in Bitcoin to run background checks, fingerprints for all employees, get written approval for new business activities by the state, and to immediately convert any Bitcoin profit to US dollars. Affected entities would be exchanges, mining pools, bulk Bitcoin sellers, and altcoin software creators based in New York State, or that have customers in New York State. News of these regulations are generally rebuked by the cryptocurrency community. All right, but check this out. 17th of July 2017, J-Mac's famous post about eating his genitalia. And this is what he said on the 17th of July when somebody said, so 1 BTT to $500 within 3 years. He said, if not, I will eat my dick on national television. Nom, nom, nom on that one. However, that didn't happen, and then obviously RIP, because we know what happened to J-Mac. Even when he said, look, if I suicide myself, I didn't. I've even got like whacked, tattooed on my arm. But this was before they corrupted it. So the chain split on the 1st of August 2017, and he wrote this on July 2017. And it was absolutely motoring. So yeah, and he knew it got corrupted. And they probably took him out because they knew that he was going to grasp people up on who was doing it. On the 17th of July 2021, the first conversation over Bitcoin. Oh, check it out. Let's see if we can play this one. Here we go. Right, let's have a look. Oh.
Okay, it is 9:32 p.m. July 17th, 2021. I am in a conversation with Joe over the Bitcoin SV network. We are sending bytes back and forth from each other. Joe, do you want to tell me about this a bit?
Sure. So basically, what this is my voice. This is the first conversation to happen over Bitcoin. And my voice is basically every second, 44 kilobytes worth of it is going into a Bitcoin transaction and being propagated through the Bitcoin SV network in a way that every single node in the Bitcoin SV network will receive this specific transaction. And then that transaction will go to Hudayfa's computer, and Hudayfa's computer will unpack it, and then finally it'll play it out through the speakers. So just like IP and voice over IP works, this does the same exact thing, but on top of Bitcoin. This is voice over Bitcoin. And there are tons of bugs, but it works.
Sweet. Thanks for coming to our TED Talk.
Check it out. That was the first conversation to happen over Bitcoin. And that was the 17th of July, 2021. Bitcoin phone. But again, those boys turned out to be, I don't know, they just took the money and run with it. Nothing came of that. That's a real shame because that would have been absolutely mint. Absolutely mint. But it shows you what can be done. Right, on to the 18th of July 2010, the first large-scale Bitcoin exchange, Mt. Gox, made its appearance. Mt. Gox opens for business. Value of Bitcoin was just 7 cents. Bitcoin value 10 days later, was 6 cents. Jeb McCaleb, a programmer best known for creating the successful eDonkey peer-to-peer network in 2000, announces the launch of Mt. Gox, a new full-time Bitcoin exchange based on a prior abandoned project of McCaleb's to create an online exchange for Magic the Gathering cards. He soon struggles to keep up with the demands of the business and sells Mt. Gox onto Mark Capellis on March 6th, 2011. Mt. Gox would slowly grow to dominate the world of Bitcoin trading over the next 3 years. What a story that was about the collapse of Mt. Gox. Whoa. The 18th of July 2014, Dell accepts Bitcoin. Founder Michael Dell announces on Twitter that Dell.com now accepts Bitcoin. Customers in the United States only can purchase any product listed on Dell's online marketplace using Bitcoin. All Bitcoin transactions are to be handled by Coinbase in a Bitcoin payment processor. At a yearly revenue of $56 billion, Dell becomes the largest company to accept Bitcoin. This announcement follows a number of other major online retailers' acceptance of Bitcoin payments in 2014. Overstock on the 9th of January 2014, processor Coinbase, Tiger Direct on, right, and they're the sources. So check it out. Dell accepts Bitcoin on the 18th of July 2014. Yeah, and that was massive. That was before I even got into Bitcoin. But yeah, there we go. Right, that is a 24-minute show. We're finishing with the Kellen Schweller countdown. Stay tuned. Hit that subscribe button. You are not going to want to miss what happens over the next 62 days. And you're going to have to stay tuned to find out. So until then, be aware, take care, stay safe out there, and we'll see you in the next one.
2 years ago, you got SegWit, which we lied and cheated and stealed, and I was part of the lying and cheating and stealing to get SegWit, to get Lightning, which, by the way, had critical vulnerabilities and lost people's money.
The king still has one more move.
Remember, Bitcoin is BSV. Everything else is BS.